My name is Torbjorn, and this is Awaken the North's basic guide to ritual working. In this series of videos, I'm going to be talking about the different rituals in Asatru and how to conduct them. This is a series for mostly new heathens. Some of you who have been doing this for a number of years may already have an idea on how to do these rituals. So, this video is, in my opinion, one of the more important steps, if not the most important steps. It's choosing a site and consecrating that site. When you choose a site, you want to have regular access to it, but you also want it to be private. So going to a friend's house because he has a backyard may not be a great idea because you may be approaching a holiday or a feast day, and it turns out they have a family barbecue in their backyard on that same day. It could pose a problem. If you live in the city, it's probably going to be a bit harder for you to choose a site because there's constantly people everywhere. So if you have a city park near you that's relatively vacant at night, that's probably your best bet. Now, if you live in a rural area and have tons of land in every direction that you can choose from, that's wonderful. If you're in a kindred who have a temple or an outdoor altar, that's also wonderful. But most of us are solitary, or we have very small groups that we practice with. And so we have to be creative. Now, I myself live in the suburbs, and I have a front and backyard that work well for me. I can go in the backyard if I'm having a group of friends over, or I can go in my front yard under my tree if I'm just doing things with myself or with my wife. Now, that if you have chosen a site and you think that it'll fulfill your needs, the next step is to consecrate that site. And what that means is you're taking an ordinary area or piece of land and making it holy ground. You're making it into a pure place where you can conduct rituals. Now, there's several ways to do this. I'm going to be showing you two that I use fairly regularly. And the first one is to take a horn and fill it with mead. This is an ordinary cow horn that I got from Tandy Leather here in the United States, and it cost me about $15. It's a nice horn. You can get them for cheaper on the internet or more expensive, elaborately carved ones as well. If you don't have access to mead, you can use wine, beer, or even water. When you fill the horn, what you're going to do is bless whatever is in it first. So you're going to make the sign of the hammer, which is an upside down capital T, and bless your mead or your wine or your beer or your water. After you do that, you take either your fingers or a sprig from an evergreen tree and dip it in the mead. After you do that, you'll take your fingers and flick the ground. What you're doing when you do that is you're taking a blessed material, which is the mead, and spreading it on the ground. And when you do that, you make the ground in front of you holy. Now, what I do is I do that in the four cardinal directions of the compass: north, east, south, and west. And when I do that, I say to the gods something along the lines of, gods and goddesses, join me in this consecration of the ground, or this blessing, and help me make it holy so that I can use it in future rituals. Now, it can be as simple or as elaborate as you wish. You can say just a few informal words, or you can make it longer. It's completely up to you, and this is going to be tailored to what you find appropriate for that time. Now, when you are done going around the circle in the mead, what you're going to do is you can dump it out onto the ground as a sign of thanks to the gods, and thanking them for helping you with this blessing, and parting ways, sending them on their way in good faith. Now, at that point, the ritual is over, and you can then refill your horn and conduct any future rituals, or you can just leave it at that and come back at a later time to do your rituals, whether it be a bloat or a sumbel or anything that you wish to do. Now, the other method that I was talking about is to take sage. Sage grows wildly here in the United States, and I believe most of Europe. And what it is used for, especially in Native American and I believe the Canadians call them First Nation cultures, is it purifies an area when it is burned. So what you'll do is you'll light one end, and I have an abalone shell here. You can use a dish or a cup or a bowl or whatever you wish, an ashtray even. And that's just for catching the ashes as the sage burns. And what you'll do is you will go around your space and say words of blessing and banishing negative energy, and basically purifying your space. You can do this alongside the mead ritual, or you can do it alone. And I like to do it. I think it works very well. So that is the end of this video. I thank you very much for joining me, and I hope that you all learned something, and I bid you farewell.